Welcome to our continuing series Questions and Answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today's subject is Consciousness, Part 21. From Sri Aurobindo. Your letter of today makes it very clear what is happening. The force that you felt had come down at first came to open the way for the descent of the higher consciousness into the mind and body. That was why it descended with such force, and the difficulty of holding or assimilating it was simply because the body was unaccustomed. But as often happens, the force is preparing its own reception and habituating the body to the descent. Having done that sufficiently, it is coming down as a massive peace. The higher consciousness in its descent takes several fundamental forms: peace, power and strength, light, knowledge, ananda. Usually, it is the peace that descends first. This is not a mental, vital, or physical peace of the ordinary kind, but something from above, spiritual, very firm, solid, and concrete. It is its concreteness that makes you feel like a still, massive block, a mass of the higher consciousness in place of the more tenuous substance of the ordinary nature. As for its being worth having, you can see that it is. It is indeed the beginning of the real transformation. All the rest hitherto has been mainly preparation and clearing of difficulties and impediments through all these years. This serene peace and massive stillness has to stabilize itself, fill the whole nature, widen itself until all existence, internal and external, seems full of it. This may take time, but the beginning once there, it is sure to take place, if one is steady and constant. It becomes, besides, the sure base on which all the rest, power and strength, light and knowledge, ananda and divine love, can come in and securely fill the consciousness. The usual mental means to widen the consciousness is to think of and feel oneself as spreading out into space beyond the body, as a corrective to the thought and feeling of oneself as identified with the body and shut up in it. After a time, this leads to a substantial experience of wide consciousness beyond the body. The means to quieten the physical consciousness is to detach oneself from all restless vibrations, not by any struggle or effort, but by a simple, easy will of quietude. However, now that the higher force is bringing quietude, these mental means may not be necessary, for the peace from above usually brings the wideness of the self, though for some time it brings it at once, for others it takes time. Anyhow, the spiritual opening has been clearly made in you. The rest is a matter of development and time. It, the higher consciousness, enters usually first into the mind, then into the vital, and then into the body. because it is these that have to be changed, and that is the natural order. If you mean the descent of the higher consciousness that is felt in the heart region, not only in the center, just as it is felt in the head. The touching of the head is only a first pressure. Afterwards, there is a feeling of a mass of peace, force, light, ananda, or consciousness coming down in the head directly and descending further to the chest and so to the navel and through the body. For some, it takes weeks or months. In others, it descends rapidly. Yes, it was the same experience as an earlier one. You went inside under the pressure of the force, which is often, though not always, the first result. Went into a few seconds samadhi according to the ordinary language. The force, when it descends, tries to open the body and pass through the centers. It has to come in ordinarily through the crown of the head, Brahmarandhara, and pass through the inner mind center, which is in the middle of the forehead between the eyebrows. That is why it presses first on the head. The opening of the eyes brings one back to the ordinary consciousness of the outer world. That is why the intensity is relieved by opening the eyes. It is possible that there may have been too much haste in this attempt to open the navel and the lower center. In this yoga, the movement is downward. First the two head centers, then the heart, then the navel, and then the two others. If the higher experience is first fully established with its higher consciousness, knowledge, and will in the three upper centers, then it is easier to open the three lower ones without too much disturbance.